It's Play in the Shed day again, and today I've got a very simple project, but one that's been bugging me for ages. Bugging me in that I didn't have one. I'm going to make a height gauge, so it's easy to set the tool holder height when I put a different tool in the tool holder. And I'm going to use this old magnet and this bolt so that I can get the adjustment right rather than having to manufacture it exactly the right height. But I need something in between, so I'll use this bit of steel that will screw down into the magnet and then the bolt will screw into the steel. Simple! So let's get to it. And first I'll just clean up and then put a thread on the end of this bit of steel. The traditional way of getting your tool height right is to align it with a dead centre, but to be honest, I find that a bit of a pain. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be, and trying to align it up with a point I find just a little bit dodgy. Once this new tool is set up, it'll be dead easy to set the tool height when I swap a different tool into the tool holder. I've ascertained that the threaded hole in the magnet's an M5, so it looks like I need to take about 10mm off, and then I'll cut an M5 thread. I've cut the piece to a size that I think is appropriate, and now I'm just turning it around, and now I need to tap an M10 thread into this so that the bolt will screw into the top of it. This definitely isn't going to be the prettiest tool in the shed, but I may as well make it a little bit shiny and nice looking. Besides, if the steel's nice and smooth and shiny, it doesn't tend to rust. Well, that was pretty easy. Now it's time for final assembly and see whether the thing works or not. By the way, I chose to use a switchable magnet because once the switchable magnet is turned off, it doesn't attract swarf. And any swarf attracted when it's turned on is easily wiped off once the magnet is turned off again. And I had this lying around not being used anyway, so the job's not going to cost me anything. Well, here's where disappointment sets in. I realise now that it can't reach across to the tool. Oh, poo. Well, there's an easy solution. I've just got another bit of steel, one with a hole in it and the other end's got a tapped thread in it, and so that'll just extend the bolt away from the magnet and it'll allow it to slide over the tool without any problem. Slide over the lathe tool, that is. Well, that was an easy fix and that's done. So now let's see what it looks like now. Now, the easiest way to tell whether the tool is set at the right height is just to face off a piece of scrap and see that there's no little tit left when it goes right into the centre. And so, yep, this tool is in fact set at the right height, and so I'm going to use this to set my gauge. And of course, once the gauge is set, I won't need to adjust it anymore for my lathe. So, using the adjustment on the gauge, I can just wind the wheel down and then tighten up the lock nut, and Bob's your uncle. Now I've got a gauge for easily setting the height of my lathe tools. And this is one that I've just put in, a left-hand cutter. And I need to set the height on the tool. So I just slide the gauge across and then just wind the tool up until it touches the underneath of the gauge. And it's done. That's much easier than using a dead centre and trying to align the point. This is nice and positive and very easy to do. This will be a really handy tool added to the shed. And now I've made it, I wonder why I didn't make it ages ago.